people. Hope everyone is doing good. I'm excited for this video. I've been waiting to do stuff like this. We're getting back into recruitment season now, scouting season. So in this video, talk about the squad. I'm going to talk about what I think we need. Not position necessarily. I'll do the position stuff quickly. I'll talk about why I chose those positions. But I want to get into the second half of the video, the profile of the player. What profile do we need? Because that's the key thing for me. It's the profiles we are missing. I think there's some very evident profiles that we need to bring to this team, make us less predictable. I genuinely think that. This video is going to go into that. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss what areas we need to do it in, who those players might be, who they look like. But yeah, let's get into it. Like I said before, guys, it's important to know this is not me. Whether we get anyone or not, that's not the point in this. I don't care. Like, when I care, I think it's vital that we do. I don't care as in, I've not took that in consideration when doing this. This is just my personal view of things. This here, as you can see, it's color-coded. It helps me visualize things. I love color-coded things. It makes it so simplified. This is kind of roles we have in the team, the amount of minutes they played, basically how important they are, what they are to the team. Obviously, the dark green guys are the ones that have started most minutes or who are most important to the team as of now. As we get lighter, they're squad players or don't really play much, youth products that have not played. And it's important to look at these things because it's important to know what areas you need strengthening in, what areas you need to, get depth if that is required. And what's clear straight away is the abundance of talent we have on the wings, right? Solomon is slightly lighter just based on the minutes he's played. Ramazani, I think, is a key player to this. He played every game when he got into the side. Before he got injured, he started playing every single game and became a key player. And on the other side, you've got Nonto and James and the striker problem. See that and think, there's no clear number 9 that starts for this side. Patrick's played a lot less than these two. These two have not played the most minutes because they've shared the minutes. Is that something to discuss? Looking at the 10. 1. And this is my problem. There's one clear profile that has played all the minutes in that role this season. Whereas on the wings, you've got 4 very good players. Midfield as well. You look here in the 8 and the 6. You've got some good numbers there. You've got Gruev to come back. This is when everyone's fit, by the way. That's the squad. Let's go on to the next part. So now we've established the squad and what squad we have, the roles we have, in what positions. Now it's time to look at the performance side of it. The main criteria for the colour coding here for what we need, to decide what we need in the window or what we need to improve the squad is this. Form, how I think they've played this season. 2, fitness status, how injured are they? Have they played a lot? Have they been available to play? And 3, do they fit the system? Those are the 3 main things. The guys in green are at the top of all them. The guys, obviously yellow and orange, kind of in the middle. And then the guys in red, youth players who are not going to get a chance. This is the key part. And I just want to say as well, I'm not doing goalkeepers because I don't know that much about goalkeepers, I'll be honest. I don't want to gaslight people and say this, that about a goalkeeper. I have no idea. I'll let the experts do that. I have no idea about recruiting goalkeepers. I really don't. I know what a good goalkeeper is, but are they right? What does Leeds want for a goalkeeper? I don't know what they want for a goalkeeper. I have no idea. But anyway. So yeah. What is clear straight away is this. So this season, you're looking at the previous slide as well, where they're all similar colours. There's not an established number 9. Why? Well, 1, look at Joe Perot. Goal scorer, yes. Clinical, yes. But he doesn't fit the system. And that's, for me, based on the fact that he hardly gets any service. That kind of shows the fact he's not really involved in the game unless we give him the chance to score. Which in some games we don't. And that needs to improve, clearly. You've got a striker who can finish, you have to find ways to give him the ball more. He also has to understand the game and allow himself to get in positions where he can receive the ball more. It's a mix of both things. Then you've got Matteo Joseph, a young man. And I told people last season, at the start of this season, it's so much pressure to expect a guy to come from the academy as the first team number 9 without fault all season for 46 games. Honestly, I think people are trying to, he gets bigged up online and everything. And again, I did that. But there's a point where you've got to think, right, these people need to chill out, because what they think's good for his development, I don't think is. Constantly overhyping him and saying this and that isn't a great environment for a young player to be in, because it's hard, and he needs to accept that it's okay that he's not playing perfect every game. The people that criticise him, the manager saying he should play him this and that, he's doing the right thing to look after the player. Whether the player thinks it or not, at a young age wants to play every minute, he thinks he's good at everything. Maybe, I don't know. Young players are like that. He struggled at times. He's not been clinical. He's missed chances. Been bullied by centre backs at times. He's bullied them at times. It's inconsistencies. He's a young man. What I'm saying is, he's not a striker who I think's played this season. You can go number 9, plays every game, top player, perfect. Fits the system perfectly, scores loads of goals. I don't think we have that. And I think that's where we need to look into. And that's what we'll talk about in the roles. That's the key position for me. And also, when you look behind, the number 10. Very similar to the previous slide. You take the youth prospects out of it, it's not even any competition for Aronson. Look at everywhere else on the pitch. Wingers, you've got Ramazani, James, Nonto, Solomon, who've all played at a decent level, can still improve. Some of them, for me, consistently, are all decent. When they're all fit, it's great competition. They all fit the system somewhat. They just need to be a bit more clinical in certain areas. Aronson has none of that. People can talk to me about putting Nonto in the 10. Look, sound, keep doing it. Cool. This is the fact. This is the facts, Lee. Let me clarify this, because you could put Nonto in the 10, and he'd do good. I'll tell you that for a fact. He'd do good. You could put not James, maybe not. You could put Ramazani in the 10, he'd do pretty good. You could put Solomon in the 10, he'd do pretty good. You could put Aronson on the wing, he'd do pretty good. You could probably even put Tanaka in the 10, and he'd do all right. Because these are good players. The average level of the league, they're above it. What they're very good at, on the wing, they'd be very good at doing the same thing in that role. There's so much more complexities to that role that they would not be good at, in my opinion. Or, it's not just something you can go try it. Maybe in the cup. But every game is so important that you could try something. And based on the structure of the team you're playing against, if you put one of these guys in this position and they're not doing their role off the ball properly, and they're always too high or too wide, and there's just constant overloads in midfield, you're done for. This is what I mean. And you also have to work on it at training, so you have to go through the role with these people. It takes time. You can't just do it in a day. You can't say, right, you're playing the 10 now. No, it works. You have to go through it. You have to do structured training based on their role. You have to watch hours and hours of footage, understanding what the role is. It's complex. It's professional football. It takes time. So I want a 10. A proper number 10. A guy that isn't a winger who can play the 10. I want a 10 who is a number 10. Different profiles that we're going to talk about in the next bit very, very soon. But I want a number 10. Not someone who could play there. You could put Sam Byram at centre-back and he'd do all right. He's a left-back. You can put Schmidt on the wing. He could do all right. He's not a winger. Just because they're good at certain things doesn't mean they will be that position. I don't think we're in a position to try. If we're 15 points clear, 4 games to go. No. If we're 15 points clear at any point, go for it. Put him in there for 90 minutes. Work on it at training, because it takes a week or 2 weeks to really get them ingrained. To really get them ingrained into the role. We don't have time to do that. We're working on ourselves. We still have improvements that the team needs to do. Not trying not to win another role. Don't think it works for me. Based on that. Those are the 2 main roles. Look at everywhere else. The midfield is absolutely stacked, obviously. Full-back areas where everyone's fit is stacked. One little consideration that we'll mention in the next bit is the Firpo contract situation. Do we have backup there? Centre-back, if Firpo goes out there to left-back. We're a bit short centre-back. The main 2 positions, are this role and this role. Because there's no established starter for me that is consistent in their role. Aronson does so many things well. I've done an entire video on it. But he has consistencies in that role, which usually Farkes 10s don't have. He isn't the perfect profile for what Daniel Farkes really requires from a 10. And we'll talk about that in the next slide on what that is. And there's no competition for him in that role, based on players that are a number 10, not who can play there. So yeah, let's get into that right now. So this is my kind of overall identification process. And what I'm going to do in the next month, I'm going to making videos for each position, for each profile of who we could get. So this is kind of setting that up. So stay tuned, put your notifications on. I speak to some mates, and apparently it's not coming up when I release a video. It's not coming on notifications, so make sure they're turned on because it helps. And YouTube sometimes doesn't, for whatever reason, tell you. So keep them on. As you can see, these two, not really, it's whatever. But I don't think we'll get one. I don't think we'll get one, and I don't think we need one, really. They're just there, just in case if you get a bad injury to Rodon, for example, or to Stroud, Touchwood. We do not. That's what's there. If that happens, we are short. I know Ampadu's back, so that might help, but still. Do you know what I mean? It's just a precaution. Same for Firpo now. If we get a Voba injury or a Byram injury long term, looking a bit short. Will Firpo sign a new contract? That type of thing. It's just about noticing they're there and that they may be an issue, but then they're not really there. The main issue is this position. I think we have to do something about it. Now, there is a world in which you can get one guy that can kind of do both. And that's kind of this profile here. The physical / box crasher. I'm looking for a guy here. And this is kind of your Stepperman, your Rancic, your Play, who he had at Borussia Mönchengladbach, who is a striker. At Thuram, Marcus Thuram, who dropped deeper, could drive with the ball. A big, strong, physical player who could dominate in that central role. A guy who can play over his back to the goal, then in 2 seconds can move the ball and be in the box. A guy who can drop deeper to get in the build-up, then get into the box. Someone that does this. Not a box-to-box, not an 8, not a this. This. A guy that can just mould around this area using his body, being physical, being strong, dominating the opposition. At the edge of the box, can he build up? Can he shoot? Quick passes, 1-2s, using his body, dominating the centre-backs. So we're missing that profile. I think we're missing a physical player up there. I think the guys up there are too nice. I think they're too nice. Watching the game, I don't think the centre-backs are... they press them and they might be aggressive in that sense, but I think they're too nice. We need an horrible physical player that uses his body well. One, ideally, that's athletic, fairly quick, fairly strong, can turn on the ball as well. Predominantly one that can use his body as a physical presence and get in the box and finish off moves. That's the 10. There's also another type of 10. Playmaker. We all know. Flo Hernandez type player. Kind of a Samu Saiz. Not really a playmaker. Well, he was, but he didn't have the best end product, but he was a playmaker. He created a lot of chances for the team. He drove the team up the pitch. Very different to Pab, who uses his brain, his quick decision making and key decision making to make decisions. That type of player. A player who can create. A player who can make plays, This is the type of player that everyone's talking about, the McAtees, those type of players. I know people are going to say Buendia. Buendia at Villa, yes. Under Farkes, I keep saying he was a winger. He literally never played in the 10 for Farkes more than about 10 times. That type of player who understands the role centrally. Not a winger who can go in there as I said, Buendia fits that because of the fact that he's been at Villa and he's played in the 10 at Villa, but under Farkes he wasn't. That type of player, like a McAtee, again, I'm not saying him, like that. You know, Huffman, who I believe it's Hoffman who Daniel Farke had at Borussia Mönchengladbach in the 10. It's a small, quick, diminutive player who can shoot from anywhere, but also thread those little intricate passes through lines. Really good ball control, really key, clean decision maker. So we don't have that. We don't have either of these. We have a hard-working tenacity. A hard-working player with a lot of tenacity who's really good on the half turn at getting into the box, finding spaces, really good off the ball, pressing. But can you get someone who does that well, maybe not as well, but well, but then can provide a more consistent final third output, whether that's through playmaking or being a physical player who can get into the box? That's what we need for me, and that's what we're missing. And then the 9. Now, I put there a 9/10 who can move effectively. That's kind of like this guy. So you're looking for a player who might not be the most clinical, this profile. It might not be the most clinical player, the 9/10 who can move effectively. Is one who can, again, hold the ball up, really good in tight spaces, really intricate passer, smart player, uses his body well, finds spaces in the box, key in the build-up, physical again. Don't have to be big and strong, like big and tall, but just strong with the body. Wins fouls, little stuff like that. That's that profile. I like that profile because that's a guy who can play that deep 9, if that makes sense, you know. Also, whatever they call it, whatever. They're slightly different, but the guy can play a little deeper, but also on the back line and running behind. Play deep, can go in behind. Perfect. Then you've got clinical, the number 9 that can get us 10 to 15 goals in the second half of the season. Okay, we all know who he is. I've got a good name for this guy, by the way, but save that for the reports. A good name. Clinical, Timo Pukki. Do little 1-2s, hold the ball up all right, little passes. That's not his main game. He does that in the move, and he gets on the last man. He makes runs in behind, he presses, he finishes 1v1s. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. And the final one, dominant. A big bully. A big physical number 9. Big and strong and quick. A presence, an athlete. Also one that sniffs around the box. Can get headers, can score from 1v1 situations, has a strike on him. A big physical player in the 9. So those are the profiles. And for the next month, I'll be got lists for each profile. I'll be making videos on each one. Like I said, this is not me saying we're going to sign these players. That's not the conversation I'm having here. I'm having fun. This is what I do. I love doing it. This is just what I would look at, just in case the manager was to change his mind or the board changed their mind and say, we need to get this player. I want this player. These are the players I choose in that role, if they're the roles we want, which I believe we should. We're short in them, as discussed previously in the video. Which one do I think we want most? I'm honestly on this one. I want a player who can... It's a lot to ask. If you can get me a clinical number 9, who is decent in build-up, can also drop deeper and be a little bit creative, Bob's your uncle. And I believe there is players out there. Like I said, I'm starting to do my lists. I've got a lot of names on that list so far. I need to narrow them down for the right ones. I believe there is that player for all of these. I do. And just to clarify, you'd get one. I'm not saying all. If you get a 10, I believe it should be one of these. If you get a 9, one of these. And then you've got this guy in the middle. They're kind of similar. They're not. This guy's more of a 10, this guy's more of a 9. You can drop deeper, this guy can go higher. Yeah. Playmaker's always great to have. Who can feed the strikers. Who can feed Joseph and Pura. So maybe that's the key. Maybe we need to feed them more. Clear chances. Maybe. Burrow doesn't get involved a lot. Who can find him consistently? That might be the key. Balls in the box, the crosses, the static movement, a late runner from the 10, getting into the box. A guy who can score goals from that role and has done it in his career. Then this guy, 9 that drops deeper, can move around the pitch, create build-up, get in the box. Clinical, dominant, big physical number 10 that's quick as well. Let me know what you guys think. Who would you guys go for? Which profile do you guys think would be the perfect one for what we need? And tell me why. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you for the support. I will be going through the comments as you're watching this. From the last video, I've been at home. I've been away from YouTube for the last few days, so I've not had a chance to look at them. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. And